Hi everyone, back again with another micro lesson. Remember, these micro lessons are here to cover skill and content in 3 to 5 minutes. All right, let's get to it. Today I'm going to teach you how to predict the offspring based off of the parents and their alleles. All right, this can be done using a Punnett Square. Watch as I've already made my Punnett Square, but I'm going to use the parent traits to predict the alleles of those offspring. All right, so one parent is going to be represented with capital B, homozygous dominant. All right, the genotype is homozygous dominant. The phenotype for this situation of capital B is going to be black. Then you have the other parent represented with homozygous recessive, lowercase b, and that's going to be homozygous recessive. All right, homozygous dominant, homozygous recessive. This is going to be represented with the phenotype black. This is going to be the phenotype white. So based off of this, my prediction is that each offspring is going to be phenotype black. But let's take a look and see what the genotype will be. So to complete this, I want to make sure I drop from the top. All right, I drop from the top and I slide from the side. So as I drop from the top over here, I drop down my parent generation of dominants, and I slide over from the side the recessive B, which is going to represent white. Now, as I've taken a look here, my prediction was correct. All offspring ended up being black in phenotype, but now I know that they are heterozygous in genotype, heterozygous being a mix, one dominant and one recessive. So based off of my completion of the Punnett Square, now I can figure out the phenotypic or the phenotypic ratio and the genotypic ratio. In this situation, we'll look at the genotypic ratio and figure out how everything played out. So I had 0 represented in homozygous dominant, 4 representing heterozygous, and 0 representing homozygous recessive. Now it's your turn to practice. I want you to create a Punnett Square or monohybrid cross using these parents. Remember, we said we drop from the top and slide over from the side. But before you actually complete it, remember to make your prediction on what you think the offspring or the F1 generation will be. Remember to pause the video so that you get plenty of time to draw, and if you need to rewind it, rewind as you need. Okay, let's see if you got it right. If this is what you got as your Punnett Square, then you're correct. Take a second and see if you can complete the genotypic ratio. I've already done the phenotypic ratio on the side. You can see we have 3 that ended up being black because heterozygous still shows black trait, the dominant trait. And you have 1 showing white. And that's going to be your homozygous recessive. Now, as I take a look at my phenotypic ratio, I have 1 being homozygous dominant, I have 2 being heterozygous, and I have 1 being homozygous recessive, giving you a ratio of 1 to 1. 1 to 1. You could look at it as I have 25% being homozygous dominant. I have 25% being homozygous recessive, leaving me with 50% to be heterozygous. Okay? So when working with Punnett Squares, sometimes you might use ratios, sometimes you might use percentages, but it's all about probability and trying to predict what the offspring will be. Great job. If you struggle with it right here, it's okay. Pause, rewind, and try it again. All right. So today, as you continue to make your predictions, looking very closely at the parents, to create your F1 generation, just be sure to think like a scientist. Make wise predictions. Drop from the top, slide from the side to complete your Punnett Square. And that concludes our micro lesson.